backup option, and it does seem like Rival do want to opt for a standard. Not even a standard. It's just going to be a triple strategist composition with Cloak and Dagger, which we haven't been seeing as of late.
Yeah, and on the side of the attackers as well, they're opting for on the side of Dopamine, they're opting for a triple strategist as well. The classic Ragnarok kind of a Guardians of the Galaxy tag team, right? For a Mantis, a Star-Lord, plus an Adam Warlock. I mean, this triple combo wombo is so underrated. I've seen great teams run that composition before, and it's a never-ending pace because Star-Lord goes down, instant revival. Mantis goes down, instant revival. Any other team goes down, if you have the Karmic Revival, those come back up as well. It's a never-ending battle as we move right now. The timer is hot, and Onsen starting things off with a bit of a teleport onto the high ground to take all this space.
Yeah, and so much control in the advantage of Dopamine at the moment. They are absolutely just forcing Rival to just reposition right now. You can see it in this free camera right now. Everyone on Rival going down to the lower level. It's going to give Dopamine a high ground advantage for the time being, as the zone is now open for business. But who will take advantage? Who will buy the first product, as both teams try to do their best? But right now Dopamine are in a great position. Bobo King actually gets the first elimination of this match, of this game, as both teams trying their best. But right now Dopamine have a slight edge despite that first teammate going down, but it looks like a domino effect is actually kicking in. Both of the revives already going to be burned on the side of Dopamine thanks to the Adam Warlock and the Guardians of the Galaxy team up, as Rival slowly pushing in, as the ultimates slowly but surely coming in. The Eternal Bond coming in from CQB on the side of Rival. Invisible Domain going to be countered, as well as, here we go, this domino effect of ultimates from the strategist, most importantly, are going to be kicking in, as Bobo King has access to the final judgment. Will rip down one. Can he eliminate the second one, as this Star-Lord in that legendary formation, as he tries to do his best to do some sort of damage? He will pick up a double kill. Maoli will get a pick, as well as Welsh Corgi trying to zone people away with the Psionic Seduction. But one thing to note, after all that fighting, Dopamine just now get access to the point.
It's painful fight through and through, but Dopamine, once again, with so many revives coming out so early on, the cocoon effect onto Star-Lord plus Mantis, just keeping everybody alive from that perspective, allows them to continue the fight and add pressure, despite Rival Esports providing so much pressure on themselves in terms of ultimates, right? Bobo King really trying to make things work with that final judgment, but unfortunately, hiding behind those shields is exactly how Onse are able to weevil and keep their team alive.
Now the main focus really is going to be on both of these Doctor Stranges. They both have the Eye of Agamotto. It's a matter of who will get more value out of the other. Onse kind of isolated right now. Needs to fall back quickly, as the Eternal Bond once again online and ready to go on the side of CQB. Onse does pop the Eye of Agamotto, but also goes down, it seems like, unless he is able to stay alive. But we'll see, as the Karmic Revival does get kicked in, and it allows Dopamine to continue the fight. But so many of these ultimates are burned. Soul Resurgence on the side of Dopamine is available, but Rival just have much more in the tank.
This is actually insane, right? Once again, that revival system coming in so clutch, allowing Dopamine quick access back on the side. And oh my dear!
Oh my
goodness! The kill feed lights up red, and Dopamine managed to shut everything down. It's a team ace against Rival Esports.
Yeah, a quick little percentage points coming in on the side of Rival, but Dopamine are able to snatch it back with relative ease, thanks to the Galactic Legend kicking in on Rocco, as they are just trying their best to just zone Rival away. The point slowly but surely reaching that 100% mark, as the Omega Hurricane does get kicked in. Rival, they want to force their way in, force their way onto the site, but for now, no one on Dopamine goes down. Everyone is still alive and kicking. CQB once again with the Eternal Bond, the third one this time around. But will this be enough? Invisible Domain is going to be counteract. Bobo King able to get a pick despite the Invisible Domain going down, as Rocco is able to get the revive off thanks to the passive. A multi-man stun kicking in, but it looks like Maui actually going down. This might be the first domino that goes down, but will Rival stay alive? Will they stay in this? It looks like the answer is going to be a little bit of a no, as the Karmic Revival secures the first point, the first round in favor of Dopamine.
Holy smokes. I have no words. Honestly, the triple strategies coming out from Dopamine is all I can talk about, because I felt like that they managed to use that to sustain their momentum time and time again. Every time there was a pick, it was like the first, it was Felix dropping early on, Rocco dropping early on, but with the Cocoon coming in clutch, that team up from the Galactic Legends themselves, able to just do so much great work and keep the momentum for Dopamine alive. And that's exactly how they were able to secure that point with so little percentage given away for their opponents. Now a bit of a change up actually. You see Felix as well, CQP hopping on that Rocket Raccoon, maybe wanting the BRB plus the Cosmic Yarn to have a bit more impact. Interesting in terms of the strategy change up, despite them having a strong presence once again from that previous point.
Onse opening things up with the portal. Like in round number 1, it looks like they will do the same strategy again, just to zone Rival away from the site at the start. And this is a very interesting strategy, and it's so far working out, as Rival, they don't know what to do. Once again, they're forced to reposition down to the lower level, and it's gonna give Dopamine a slight height advantage, as Bobo King going to start things off with the Final Judgment, as the ultimates aren't quite available on the side of Dopamine just yet. Bobo King is able to get one, and it's going to be onto the tank of Onse, as he tries to do more with this hit scan character, but the Meteor just gonna absolutely shut down everyone, as Rival will be able to access the site first, unless Dopamine have something to say about it, but it looks like they will just fall back and reset.
You actually see Felix back on that Adam Warlock, maybe just wanted to farm some additional shields with that BRB that happened on Rocket Raccoon. So once again, Triple Sentinel back online for the side of Dopamine. Unfortunately, they were shut out pretty early, so fighting back on the site, using that high ground. Groot, Maoli doing so much work to maybe sustain and hold back the rest of the site, but they're gonna have to fall back onto the point to maybe regroup for a bit more action here. Psionic Transmission comes out, trying to disrupt, but the beautiful wall comes out.
Yeah, great wall and a better Eternal Bond coming in from CQB. Hope, though, we didn't mention this a lot, as he's going to be on that Wolverine to try to get that point-blank range with the Groot wall to just absolutely box Dopamine in and just have Hope just go absolutely ham. There's the kidnap coming in, and that's going to be Welsh Corgi getting absolutely destroyed. But right now, can Rival hold their ground? Can they keep going? Last Stand is available, and it's going to be comboed with the Strangling Prison. Hope gets 2, might get more, will fall back as he needs the healing and sustain, as everyone on Dopamine are scrambling to stay alive, and they are so staggered right now.
Oh, I love the combination, right? The Strangling Prison just allows Hope to unleash the fury like a sushi chef, to slice the dice to be able to make mincemeat of everybody from Dopamine. So the regroup comes out. Welsh Corgi, you know,
they don't have
just
time.
trying to take all this forward space at the moment. They'll have to touch the Galactic Legends just to be able to make some space.
Oh, no.
But Irma with the shutdown from the mid side was so spectacular.
Yeah, 5 seconds left on here. Bobo King gonna pop the Final Judgment. Everyone trying to dump their ultimates. Everything goes in the kitchen sink, but Bobo King is going to be the one that reigns supreme, as he's able to get 2 with the Final Judgment. And it looks like we may go into a round number 3. And we are off, as Rival are able to strike back in this round number 2.
a great adjustment, honestly, from their perspective, right? To be able to, firstly, they were forced out by the same tactics from the side of Dopamine in terms of the zoning out from the portals, from Doctor Strange, but they kept calm, they kept their cool, they've seen it before, and they regroup. And I want to point attention on to Hope, those feral leaps, those last stands doing so much work for the team. The combination with some brilliant plays with Maoli, with those strangling prisons, plus Bobo King's final judgment doing mince work of the players on Dopamine as well. So, and just, we'll see how Dopamine adjusts to that with Solmin on the invisible woman now, maybe thinking those shields plus that ultimate might do a bit better work than that Mantis can.
Yeah, and this final map coming in this first game, it's gonna be that waterfall map. You know how much potential this map has in terms of playmaking potential and that's positioning advantage, especially in this section here, as both teams do get a little bit of a face-off before going onto the site. But it looks like Dopamine are going to get that initial control, top it off with the Strange Portal as well. And now Rocco, one thing to note, is going to go on to that Wolverine as well, but here comes that domino effect again. Both sides popping their strategist ultimates. Walsh Corgi going to pop the Psionic Seduction. It's going to shut down CQB, as Ray is going to follow up with another elimination, as Dopamine are going to get early control. A great Feral Leap coming in from Rocco is going to seal the deal, as Rival need to reposition.
That is the adjustment that Dopamine came out, right? You know that Maoli has been such a crazy group with isolating all these 1v1s. So Rocco hopping onto the Wolverine and being able to do some quick dicing themselves. This is a bit more brawl-centric, right? Instead of the poke heavy, you get a lot more team-focused fights with the Wolverine on both sides trying to find an early pick to bring it back into team territory and then focus fire themselves down.
And Dopamine trying to do their best to keep Rival at bay, but for now they will allow Rival to push up, give them a little room to work with, as Bobo King still on that Punisher, trying to do his best. He's gotten some valuable final judgments down, but the terrain change is going to cause a lot of problems now, as both teams forced to reposition, forced to readjust what they want to do. Felix holding onto the Omega Hurricane, doesn't quite need it just yet, as Dopamine wipe out half of Rival Esports. And they will once again need to back out, need to reconsider what they need to do, especially with how drastic the terrain makes this map. Just that all that
it's hard. You gotta take the high ground, which is exactly where they're going to. If Bobo King manages to secure that high ground with a final judgment, it may spell doom for Dopamine and get a percentage on for the side of Rival Esports. But you know, we'll have to say, as they now move into that, Felix pops
there we go.
The Omega Hurricane and just wipes out Rival Esports even before they were able to get onto the top side of this point.
Yeah, so much damage coming in on the side of Dopamine, especially with the Last Stand and the Omega Hurricane just piled on top of each other. It just out damages the strategist ultimates, and it looks like Dopamine, there's not much time left. It looks like they will be able to secure game number 1 of this best of 3 against Rival, unless they have some time to work with. Overtime going to be kicking in, but it's just going to be a desperation attempt coming in from Rival Esports as they all fall one by one toward the... Oh my god, what a play coming in from Rocco, just a Feral Leap into the portal to keep Onse from jumping onto site. Actually, it might have been the other side, but it doesn't matter. The dust settles, and Dopamine will secure game number 1.
Oh my dear, like it's precisely your point. It's all these micro plays that give their team an edge, you know, like saving an Omega Hurricane, not for the fight that you really want to secure, because the rest of your team has gotten it, waiting for the resurgence from your opponents to maybe try and challenge the high ground, whipping it in those close quarters, and suddenly they're ready for being sent back to the server, and those eliminations come out so strong for the side of Dopamine to be able to maybe poke and prod just a little bit more with a single flower in the sky.
Yeah, for now that does look like the approach, and oh my goodness, are we seeing a Storm Torch combination at the Fire Tornado team up ability kicking in as we do load in to the symbiotic surface in this map number 2 in this best of 3. As yeah, like we said, so many different avenues of access, especially to that first site, and it's just a matter of how will these teams utilize their characters, their own team compositions, their own coordination, and see if the other team is able to adapt or maybe just absolutely dominate over.
Yeah, and the new team up from Storm, you know, with the Supernova plus the Omega Hurricane, you can make Fire Nados, and that's going to be quite interesting moving forward into this map. At the moment, it's full on ahead. Dopamine on the attack, taking that right side, that, you know, high ground that you kind of talked about. Trying to see that maybe, you know, Rocco, actually, no, onto the Wolverine. So, you know, just negating everything I said so far, while Rival Esports takes the high ground, especially with those two flyer combo team-ups between Ultron as well as Iron Man, could prove a lot of
whoa, what a kidnap coming in from Hope, or for Hope just gets absolutely kidnapped, caught out by Rocco. You just saw him at the top of the screen. You just went absolutely flying. But for now, it does seem like the advantage is in favor of Dopamine as they do push forward. Welsh Corgi will get himself another pick. Do keep in mind, if any of Rival Esports goes down, it's much more painful as Rocco going absolutely ham with the Feral Leap, and just like that, Dopamine keep their momentum going from the first map, and they will translate it to the first point with relative ease.
It's just once Hope was kidnapped with the Feral Leap, it was just too much to bear, you know, not enough perhaps healing to be able to sustain, or rather a deep duelist action, because honestly, an Ultron is a semi-duelist as well from that perspective. And so now Rocco trying to take the fight onto them, caught in a bit of a awkward position, but manages to get out of that. They really want to try to retain this high ground, because this is going to be really important for rotating around this corner and getting the payload along.
Yeah, right now it's looking good for the side of Dopamine. Another pick in favor of Dopamine as Cassius does get taken out of the fight for a good few seconds. Remember, if you're on the defensive side, you do need that extra time to walk to your team to get that positioning down, which means Dopamine, if they get any kind of pick, it's going to pay huge dividends in favor of them, as the Ultron Iron Man team-up combination is coming down, but the Eye of Agamotto is going to be popped up. Here comes that domino effect of the ultimates once again. Rocco is able to find a pick onto Bobo King, as every single character, every single player trying to use their ultimates to their own advantage, but in the sense of this fight, Rival Esports still holding on to a good amount of their ultimate. Soulman forces the invisible domain, but that doesn't force Rival to use any of their abilities just yet. Bobo King and Maui still having their own ultimates available. Will we see a combo of some sorts? But only time will tell, as Rival are able to stunt the push coming out of Dopamine.
I love it, right? It's almost like a game of chicken. Who will drop the first ultimate? And that was the side of Dopamine, but a great recovery from the side of Hope. That Rage of Ultron being able to sustain everybody despite an Eye of Agamotto plus an Omega Hurricane coming out. Okay, the regroup has come along to be able to force maybe Rivals into some space. High ground not yet really contested just yet, so it's a battle of the ages here at that midsection.
Now the main focus comes in on Welsh Corgi and Rocco on the side of Dopamine. Both of them with their ultimates available right now. Rival does have Bobo King with the Pulse Cannon available. Here we go. This might be the combo here, as the Psionic Seduction might get comboed with the Last Stand. It's not even needed. It's actually going to get comboed with the Omega Hurricane.
Absolutely disgusting. Honestly, with the Psionic Seduction just allows so much CC. I've said it twice again, but yeah, the team wipes are true, and with the payload being so close to point number 2, exactly what was needed to just get across and lock themselves at point number 2. Moving along now, fighting under this cavern allows for a lot of great picks and rotations around, but they don't want to at least make it a bit more worthwhile from that perspective with some very interesting portals.
Yeah, a little bit of a portal coming in. Try to get that team up and going. The Meteor not going to get much value out of there. Welsh Corgi trying to do what he can to get these flyers out of the way. Eternal Bond going to be popped, as so many of these strategist ultimates going to get stacked on top of each other. But Felix is able to find a kill onto CQB. That's going to be a huge picked off in favor of Dopamine as they try to keep this push going, but now the respawn is going to be in favor as a multi-man stun comes in for Onse and is able to get that team wiped out. Rival need to run for the hills. The respawn is right there, but is it going to be enough for them to take advantage? Rocco is able to land the Feral Leap onto a flying character. That is something you can't really do often. And so far, Dopamine slowly closing in on that third site. Can Rival keep them at bay? It looks like for now they will. A great snipe coming in from Irmo on this Magneto as everyone's starting to pile in. Rocco going to pop the last stand. Cassius in a lot of trouble, is going to get picked off. Rocco just being an absolute nuisance. He's the only one operating this Wolverine, and it's doing so well. There is an adjustment coming in from Rival with the Thing, but the Thing just gets absolutely taken out as the Eternal Bond should seal the deal, and there it is. 3-0 of an opener in favor of Dopamine.
Wow, that was a lot quicker than I anticipated. Honestly, Dopamine just were able to punch through the entire way. They built their ultimates at the right time and utilize them to be able to get the point strategically, right? Like waiting to utilize that psionic seduction at the last possible moment, just when the cart was just around the corner from point number 2, and so there's no potential or possibility for even a teleport in from Rival Esports to get themselves. But that third run from the side of Dopamine was spectacular, right? They just pressed W the whole way and were able to clamp onto Rival Esports from basically almost spawn camping them.
Yeah, and well played on the side of Dopamine. They were just able to utilize Rocco, the Wolverine, and it's just,
yeah,
he's just doing so much work, a lot more work than most people might think. As Rival, they were rocking with 2 flyers, but now it's gonna be Dopamine on the defensive side. Rival Esports, now it's their turn for their approach to access the first site. We did see Rival take that high ground when they were on the defensive side. Dopamine looking to do the same as of right now, but it looks like Onse is in an aggressive position as Rival. Will they opt to run it down mid, or will they take an alternate path? But it looks like they will opt to stay mid and try to brute force their way onto that first site.
Rocco, very sneaky with it, almost got a Feral Leap kidnap in the midst of all that, but you know, the Vanguard's doing absolute work to be able to prevent that from happening. The shooters are now coming in clutch at the moment. We've got both Iron Man as well as Ultron trying to work their top-down magic at the moment. Welsh Corgi taking maybe the brunt of it, maybe pick off these flyers high in the sky as Bobo King is going to be forced to retreat just a little bit as they receive a bit more pressure here. Nothing, a bit of a stalemate so far, but Bobo King does go down from Ree. The nicely placed left click.
Yeah, and this might allow Dopamine to push forward. Sometimes you might want to wonder, is Dopamine on the defensive side or are they on the offensive, as Ray is able to find a second elimination despite the invisible domain being popped on the side of Rival Esports. But right now, Dopamine have a commanding control over this first site and will keep Rival from getting any sort of momentum for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, they've kind of been only like moving into that little chokehold at the moment, and so they really need to diversify themselves out a little bit more on that right side, take that high ground, which is exactly what Irmo is trying to do as we try and bring ourselves back into the fight here.
Yep, Rage of Ultron going to get popped. Rocco did get picked away. Here comes the pulse cannon. It's going to snipe away Felix from the fight, and it looks like Rival should be able to secure this first point. But right now, Dopamine trying to do their best. They are down 1 person as here comes Onse with the Eye of Agamotto. It's going to tag onto 2, and that's going to be 2 easy picks. Maelstrom Madness not quite going to get as much value, but Rocco coming in with a pick using the last stand. But Onse is still going crazy. He is going to fly into the faces of the 2 flyers on the side of Rival, and somehow, some way, despite being down a man, Dopamine are able to defend.
the Flowers can't enter this space, right? That's the thing about this point number 1 is that once you get onto the point, there's so much open space. There's nothing you can hide around from that perspective.
Oh my God,
wants
Onse!
you to take the fight and maybe get some staggers here, but able at least get away with their life and fall back and recoup with the rest of their team.
Yeah, there was a chance Onse had a backstab there, just couldn't get the damage down, couldn't get the elims in time. But it's going to be enough. It's a lot of pressure in favor of Dopamine right now. Onse doing what he does best. Again, just trying to get into the faces. But Bobo King is able to laser down Rei. Can he get more? Is going to be the question. Pulse Cannon is available, but when will he use it? Probably when that Strange Shield is down. And it looks like he will pop it, but it's not going to get much value. Cassie is going to pop the Invisible Domain. Try to get Rival onto this site right here, right now. Look at the timer, 40 seconds left. They don't have much time right now. They only probably have time for one more good push, but that one good push might be right now as Dopamine trying to do their best to stay on the site, try to defend with that Invisible Domain, but with the Eternal Bond kicking in, it's going to make things a lot more difficult unless Dopamine have something to say about it. The Omega Hurricane is going to be perfectly timed. No one has their strategist ultimates. No one is available to counter Rei, and everyone on Dopamine will follow suit as the timer soon enough will hit 0, and it's going to be a 2-0 victory for Dopamine.
Incredible action, especially that last push from the side of Rival Esports, you know, dumping so much utility as well as ultimates into it, but the counteract from Dopamine was spectacular. You know, you had the invisible boundaries just to be able to let them push out from the little choke point that they were cornered in back onto the site, and once they had that, the Psionic Seduction plus the Omega Hurricane just did quick work on everybody else. And so those are the powers that may be. Dopamine riding that dopamine high right now for a great win of their perspective, not letting, I think, only a single third point, like not third point, but 1/3 point on that first point,
Yes.
given away to Rival Esports.
Oh my goodness, I'm at a loss for words. Dopamine were just on their A game today. They were just getting that extra coordination. They got that extra teamwork down, and we saw it with the combination of the ultimates, especially during that map number 1. We've seen ultimates being used at the perfect time. This map, no exception. Props to Rei for realizing, hey, the enemy doesn't have any strategist ultimates. They don't have any ways to counter me. What if I just pop Omega Hurricane and just rip everyone to